Let's talk about Joe Biden becoming president. Well, he's the president, okay? No, none of those hashtags, all right? It's not going to change the fact that he is, in fact, the president. Okay. Well, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to analyze and critique things that he does, of course, just as I do with most things like the media and other stuff. We're going to talk about it. This is from the Los Angeles Times. This is just a transcript of his speech. Okay, now I'm not going to read this whole speech. All right, but he introduces himself. He says, "Today we celebrate the triumph of not a candidate but a cause, the cause of democracy. We're a constitutional republic." They keep shoving this democracy down our throats, and you know what I think they're trying to do? They're trying to turn us into a full democracy. Because majority rules and minorities basically don't have a say anymore, which is kind of weird because it feels like the opposite of their whole agenda, or rather the people that they've convinced to support them. All right, well, moving on. We celebrate the triumph of, democracy. The people, the will of the people has been heard. I mean, see that part already. The will of the people. I mean, depending on these forensic audits that still have yet to have happened. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that. We'll see. And the will of the people has been heeded. We've learned against the democracy is we've learned again that democracy is precious, democracy is fragile, and at this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed. Down with the republic, I guess. So now on this hallowed ground, where just a few days ago, violence sought to shake the... See, right off the bat, he's talking about this violent thing that the Capitol was going on. Joe Biden never condemned Antifa. He said that they were an idea. Even just the past few days, Black Lives Matter in New York were fighting with police officers. Police officers have been injured. So was it just back to blue when it was people on that supported Trump that were attacking? Attacking too, because... they've already disproven. I talked about this yesterday. There was no attack on Capitol members. The House, Congress. There was no actual threats to anybody in any member of Congress. That was something that the media spun up, and then they disproved. Of course, they already got what they wanted. They wanted people angry and divided. So, but again, they're not letting it go. That's why he's saying, on this hallowed ground. Now it's hallowed ground. Goodness sakes. Violence sought to shake the Capitol's very foundation. We come together as one nation under God. He said the word. He said God. Not, go, the thing. Yeah, now it's okay. Now that he's actually president, he's going to revert back to, God. He swore on that big, thick, 120-something-year-old Bible that's been in the family forever. Anyway, keep going. Indivisible, to carry out the peaceful transfer of power as we have for more than 2 centuries. Trump was saying a peaceful transfer of power. And that's what happened. So all 25,000 troops that were in there, what were they there for? Where were they getting these threats? Where were the threats coming from? I'm really curious because I didn't see anything that happened. Nothing happened. I'm not really surprised. Let's see. As we look ahead in our uniquely American way, restless, bold, optimistic, we set our sights on a nation we know we can be and we must be. I thank my predecessors of both parties for their presence here today. That's a slap at Trump right there. That's a slap at Trump. He's thanking his predecessors of both parties for their presence there. So he was saying, only if you're here, I'm thanking my predecessors. So it's the backhanded smacks. I'm telling you, they're riddled throughout this. I thank them from the bottom of my heart, and I know the resilience of our Constitution and the strength of our nation, as does President Carter, who I spoke with last night, who cannot be here with us today, but whom we salute for his lifetime of service. I've just taken a sacred oath each of these patriots have taken, the oath first sworn by George Washington, But the American story. Oh, see, weren't they trying to cancel the founding fathers? I'll keep going though. But the American story depends not in any one of us, not on some of us, but on all of us, on we the people who seek a more perfect union. This is a great nation. We are good people. Over the centuries, through storm and strife, in peace and in war, we've come so far, but we still have far to go. Far to go. What do we... Oh, right, because of systemic racism, right? And he actually goes and talks about it. I'm going to skip ahead a lot because there's a bug in here. That's a pretty big guy. Anyway, I'm just going to skip ahead because this guy... He's ranting and raving about all sorts of stuff about unity, and here we go. For without unity, there is no peace, only bitterness and fury, no progress, only exhausting outrage, no nation, only a state of chaos. This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge, and unity is the path forward, and we must meet this moment as the United States of America. Look, every single time that he mentioned unity and peace, all I can think about is the fact that the media has spewed hate for years and years and years. They created the divide. Media did. The Democrats did. I've met many Trump supporters. They were all very nice. And they were all different colors. They were just American patriots that love this country. Stop trying to lump in all of those, whatever, the violent people that everyone, the Proud Boys, they're violent. Okay, well, that's still a small group of people. That doesn't represent the 75 million Trump supporters that exist. This was a close election. It was close, all right? It wasn't a landslide. Democrats actually lost a bunch of seats in Congress. All right, sure, they gained the presidency and gained the Senate, whatever. They gained specific things, but it was still a close race. That still shows you that half of the country still believes on one side of things. So when he says without unity, there is no peace, you guys were the ones spreading this divide. He talks about how, like even earlier on, he said, well, this tragic hollowed ground that we stand on. Yeah, the woman got shot, but she shouldn't have been shot. She was just she was trying to climb through a window. She didn't need to get shot. These people weren't being violent. In fact, the person standing there instigating it was an instigator that was seen at Black Lives Matter riots and protests. And even they said, he's too extreme for us. He's an instigator. So they even booted him out. So he went there to instigate. He's on camera. It's his footage that people have been sharing around of her getting killed. And you can hear him say to the cops, we're going to go through. Come on, guys, let's go through. Guys, get out of the way, cops. We're going to go through no matter what you say. It's like he's instigating. He instigated that. That woman didn't need to get shot. It didn't need to be hollowed ground. But more importantly, stop mushing us all together. That reminds me of something I'm going to bring up later on. Actually, I'm just going to bring it up now. Let me find this. This is surprisingly from Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. Sorry, I don't know how to say that, but I was shocked. I'm leading the call for national security powers to not be expanded in light of the attack on our nation's capital that occurred 2 weeks ago, as such measures often lead to the erosion of Americans' civil liberties. Where have you been, Congresswoman Rashida? Isn't she? No, she's not part of the squad. Is she? Is she part of the squad? I'm not exactly sure if she's part of the squad or not, but I know she's definitely not on the conservative side of things. But for her to bust this out, I'm like, wow, that's exactly what we need. We need people to stand up for the fact that all in here. Let me see if I can zoom in. It's not this page. On one of these, I'm not going to read this whole thing. It's kind of lengthy. But she talks about how we can't lump in the few, even if it was 1,000 people that stormed the Capitol. All right, that's a lot. And that's I think that's way more than I think actually stormed the Capitol. All right. We can't lump all of those people together with the whole entire Trump base. As I said, okay, thank you. Chat is telling me she is part of the squad. All right. So here's one of the socialist squad defending American civil liberties. That's pretty, I was kind of shocked. I saw it and I was like, man, that's what we need. Stop lumping us all together. Not all of us are violent. You're being ridiculous. You're basically ramping up the ability for the government to slap on these authoritarian measures and control the people, when it was a small group of people that stormed the Capitol, that created hallowed ground. Anyway, going back to Joe's speech, one thing that caught my ear that is particularly worrisome for me. He said, I wrote it, I tweeted it out. I don't remember exactly verbatim. I'm just going to read my tweet because I tweeted it right when he said it. And I was like, what did he mean? Yeah. What did Joe Biden mean by saying the deadliest time of the virus has yet to come? Now, he said that. And he's said multiple times that the dark winter is coming. What does that mean? Don't we have a vaccine? Don't we have, aren't we starting to get this under control? What do you mean the worst has yet to come? The deadliest time of the virus has yet to come. Does that mean you know something that we don't, Joe Biden? Or President Biden? Do you know something? Or are you going to warn us, maybe? Or are you just going to say these fear clicks, littering in your speech of hope? People were saying, I've seen someone say it was the best inauguration speech I've ever heard. And it's like, well, what does that mean, though? That how are you going to drop that line and not have people go, what did he just say? Did you just say the worst of the virus is yet to come? Because we've been locked down for almost an entire year now, okay? It's been almost a full year. That's nuts. That's nuts. We got to open up our economy. Even Governor Cuomo is saying we need to open up the economy. Hey, Cuomo, by the way, that was Trump's idea. He's trying to act like, that wasn't Trump's idea. What are you talking about? No. Look, we got to open the economy up. If people are going to get vaccinated, vaccinate the older generations, the people that are at risk, okay? Younger generations don't need this. They need vitamin C. They need vitamin D. They need exercise. They need to be healthy so their bodies can naturally beat it. Period. And if you had the virus, doesn't that mean you have the antibodies naturally in your system? So you wouldn't need a vaccine. I read an article earlier today saying, well, now all these different airlines in different countries are going forward with the vaccine passport. I reported on this a month ago or two, and how Australia, one of Australia's airlines, going through with the vaccine passport. You can't go to Australia via this one airline, mind you, unless you prove you have a vaccine passport, that you've been inoculated against COVID-19. So what is a vaccine, right? It introduces a little bit, so your body creates the antibodies so that you have antibodies. So if you've had it, COVID-19, not the vaccine, don't you have the antibodies? Now, look, I'm not a doctor or anything, all right? So, but what I do know, and what I've read different reports from actual doctors, is that it's not a normal vaccine. It's an RNA vaccine, so it actually messes with your DNA. And there's reports, well, number one, people have already died from taking the vaccine. Granted, it's only a few people, but it's happened. And number two, I've read reports of people being sterilized, all right? Well, Snopes says, well, it doesn't actually make them sterile. It actually just, it stops women from being able to produce a placenta, which is vital to creating babies. What's the difference now? They don't have an answer. So look, Biden's speech, Man, today was such an embarrassment. Gosh, the flags. Did you guys watch it? How many people out there watched it? You know, how many people actually watched it? I mean, I did and I didn't. I listened to his speech and I was just like, I can't believe I'm watching him act so virtuous. You know, that's the thing. They create this problem and then they say, now we're here to save the day. Don't worry. The day has been saved. I am here. No need to fear. By the way, fear. That's what it feels like. They created a divide, and then they realized, you know, they can now capitalize because they've blamed Trump on all of the divide, and now they're back. Wow. All right, I'm just going to relay. I'm watching chat. Nobody did. All right, I see a couple saying I did watch it, but so many people watching right now didn't watch the inauguration. And honestly, I don't blame you guys, because for the most part, half the country believes that it was fraudulent. You know, half the people believe that they actually did steal the election, which is nuts. I still think we need transparency. I still think we need to drop some laws. Like, look at Florida, right? Florida was, you know, they had issues. Look at 2000, the 2000 presidential race. You know, Al Gore thought he was president for 37 days. And then, you know, the Supreme Court came down and said, all right, you know, the counting's over. Well, Florida went ahead and overhauled their entire system. All right. They counted millions of votes. Election day, November 3rd. They were done. The whole state. Yep, it's Trump. We did it. We got this lockdown. We need that system everywhere. We need the system everywhere that there's no more BS, no more midnight counting. You count till it's done. Every single person gets to watch the votes. It's ridiculous, and we need that.